Welcome, Joanna, to Just Winning podcast. Thank you ever so much for joining me. I know it's your evening and it's my morning, and you're doing really well with your the time exchange. And so this episode we're calling the midlife or butterfly effect, and I'm really keen to hear all about your journey as the midlife butterfly. And so, first of all, what inspired you to finally spread your wings, take flight after years in teaching?
I think I think it was midlife, hit midlife. I was starting to feel that everything was changing. I could feel physically I was changing. And I think with that, it became a huge emotional and a mental shift as well. And I just felt unfulfilled. I'd had a loss of confidence, I think, going through menopause as well. I just wasn't quite sure who I was anymore. That was the overriding feeling. And I felt it was a time for change. I just needed to leave and reconnect to myself. That was really the purpose of it, and the inspiration really was the inspiration I was going to say was myself. That's a funny thing to say, isn't it? But I'd always travelled as a young girl, so the inspiration was always travel. And I always knew that travel was a space that I could step into. So I guess it was travel maybe that inspired me. Change. Seeking change.
Well, a lot of people have fear, around making those big, steps. What do you think gave you the courage to make that choice to step away from what you knew and start travelling? Do you think was it more, often we make choices because of pain or pleasure? It was too painful to stay in that situation? Did you feel it was a courage? Did you feel that there was an element of bravery there?
No. It was just a decision that I made. I was just driving home one day in the car and my son was going to graduate. I knew that anyway, but there'd been a huge change in my job and there was COVID, and I just was driving home and I was like, I'm a teacher, so I count in terms. And I was like, that's it. I've got 450 days left. And the ticker started. And there wasn't any fear, because I think more scary for me was not seeking change, was staying in the same place, staying in the same job, staying in the same roles. That scared me more, of not experience or looking or seeking for something new. So, yeah, I mean, people say that to you, oh, you're so brave, you're so courageous, but it's not. I don't see it like that, because it's just me. I want to seek change. When I get too comfortable, I get bored, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and we do know that when you change your environment, it can also help change your mindset. So being in a new place can support you with your mindset as well. So while you've been travelling and caring for your mum, and how has that shaped your sense of purpose and perspective, with the fact that you've been doubling up, doing some caring there and then, jet setting?
It's been very difficult. It's not something that I'd anticipated would happen, I don't think. I'd left there with a plan of what I was going to do for 6 or 7 months. But my mum was waiting for me. So I had I had a timeline. So I knew I had to get there for this point in time because my mum was waiting for me. So it wasn't something that I'd anticipated that I would then spend 18 months kind of in and out of the UK.
Oh, pardon me. Yeah.
Bless you. Between the both, shifting between the both. I think there's quite a lot that's come out of it, actually. A lot of real self-learning in a space within a family. You start to track back through your family patterns. You start to see patterns, because I hadn't lived around my parents for a long time. So it was really interesting to be around my dad as well, and you start to notice things and you start to learn more about yourself. I think on the journey of travelling anyway, I've become more present, because I've had time to be more present, because I wasn't just running around in my job, doing the shopping, doing the cooking, the roles and things, and the duties we have and the work, So I was able, and that's one of the biggest things that's come out of it, is being present. But I think also the other part of it is giving love to another, but then also turning that on yourself and trying to be more compassionate to yourself, because you tend not to be compassionate to yourself. And I've had to take time out, and that's been a really difficult balancing act of, like, how do I step away from this situation where I'm literally feeling needed every second of the day, to actually take some time for myself. So I had to really work through that. That took me quite a long time to get through, letting go of the guilt that I was feeling in that situation. And it's still there, but it's not like it was, because I've got to be loving to myself as well, and I think
Yeah.
guilt doesn't. I think we spend a lot of our lives feeling guilty. I know I have. I think women tend to feel guilt for a lot of things. Yeah, so it's letting go of guilt, being more compassionate to yourself and being more present. And I guess the biggest thing is also learning that life is really short. Seeing someone who's quite young, relatively young, I think my mum's relatively young, it gives you a real midlife this is it, How many summers have you got left? You don't know how long have you got left. So for me, it's been I'd already had that feeling with my mum getting sick, but I think being in that situation has made it more powerful. It's given it a lot more meaning to how fast this existence is, and to really enjoy everything every day.
I know, it's amazing. It's great. I'm sure other caregivers will be inspired. So you chose to start the midlife butterfly. And so what inspired the symbol of the butterfly, and how do you identify now as the butterfly? What does that mean for you personally?
The idea before I left, I was sitting in my front room, and there'd be a little sunny corner where I would sit, and I was sitting there thinking about what was about to happen and where I was coming from, because I'd been through such a difficult period emotionally, mentally. And I just was like, I'm going to be like the butterfly. I'm going to step out of this cocoon and kind of spread my wings and fly. That was really what it was all about, and that was where it came from. And change is natural, and it's messy, so it's kind of like it's that process of transformation. So it's kind of letting go of everything. So as I stepped out of that cocoon, there's a video of me the last night sitting in my room, and it's really interesting for me when I look back. It's really powerful. It makes me cry because I can see, like, I'm excited, but there's also this kind of like, what's coming? I don't know what's coming. But really just a letting go of everything, packing all the house down, selling so much stuff. It was all part of that transformation starting, like cracking open, and that was it. I stepped out of the door, and then I was in the airport, and I was like, right, that's it. And I can remember flying out from the Gold Coast and just looking down and going, don't know when I'm going to be back. It's like it just flew out of there. Yeah, that's where it came from. It was that feeling of, that's it, I'm going. I'm going to change. I'm going to put all of those little coloured spots on my wings, with all these new stories.
Yes, and so did you go with your son as well?
He came with me for the first part.
Yeah.
He met me in Vietnam, and we did some really great things in Vietnam together. I'd already spent quite a lot of time there. And then he came with me to India, because I took him there just before COVID, so it was his second visit to India, and we did some nice things. And then he left. He left me, I think, 2 days before New Year's Eve. He was off, as kids do. So then he went, and then that was it. And I left about 6 or 7 days later on my own, and I just remember standing at this train station at like 6 in the morning in Goa, and I'd had to drag my bag down to this station, and I was just standing on the platform, and there was just everyone around, how they are, sitting on bales of clothes, and people sleeping on the floor, and there was just stuff going on. I just remember seeing the sun rising, and I was just like, I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. And it was just such a powerful feeling of me acknowledging to myself, this is right, this is where I am meant to be, and I know that I'm on my path, And I've had so many signs, but that was one of the first real strong memories that I remember.
So did you find that, so was there any sort of daily mindset activities or anything that you introduced to be able to, like, as part of, when you're going from one place to another place?
I think I'd already started to put things in place before I left. I'd done a yoga course because I'd wanted to learn I've always done yoga. I started learning yoga in Sri Lanka when I was in my 20s. So I'd always done it on and off, and I wanted to go back and actually learn to teach it, but it was more for me to learn about the movement and the structure and what it does.
Yeah.
And so I'd already had that in place. I'd already been meditating as a practice, and journaling had become much more important to me. So those were the things that really came with me. I did yoga in so many interesting spaces as I travelled around. My yoga mat was on the back of me. Every time I moved from place to place, doing yoga under the cherry trees in a park in Japan, doing yoga on the balcony in India, doing yoga in a tiny little alleyway in a bedroom, in Vietnam, like just moving around. But it was every day. I did my practice every day. I meditated and I journaled every day. So it grounded me every day. And a self-talk practice, At the end of my practice, I always sit and I kind of have I bring myself present to my mind and to my words, to my thoughts and to my words and to my heart. And that's something that I do every day. So these are all things that I'd started to put in place. But I think while I was traveling, they became really powerful as well, because they just ground me back into myself.
Yeah. And so going from one place to another, was that part of you? So what was that journey about? So in terms of the travel, so was it, the wanting to see a place? Was it being away from any responsibility?
I don't know.
What's the thing about the travel?
What was the driving emotion? I think when I look back now and I feel so much more powerful, present now, much more peaceful now. I think when I left, I just was on a mission to do stuff by myself because I hadn't been by myself for 18 years. I'd
Yeah,
had my son and
yeah,
I was happy to be in that space, but to
yeah,
be stepping out of that space with no responsibilities, no job, it was so euphoric, actually. It was so euphoric. And the traveling, I couldn't get enough. I just couldn't get enough. And I just would move. And if I got to a place and I just felt the energy wasn't right for me or it wasn't where I needed to be, I would
yeah.
just be like, okay, I'm going to move. And I did that. I went to Longcowie and I was sitting in Longcowie and I was like, oh, this is really nice. This is really great. But I'm feeling like it's not really fulfilling me. And that was when I got on a plane and went to Borneo and went to see the orangutans. And these were things that I hadn't intended on doing. So it was really lovely that I was able to be in a space to say, actually, that's what I want to do. I want to go and do that next. And, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I've never done that. That's something that I always wanted to do. I'm going to go and do that.
So
So
it's like ticking off your bucket list in
yeah,
terms of
there was
things
a
you
bit
want
of
to
a
see
wish
and do.
list in there. There was a lot of places that I'd already visited, but there was lots of new places that I hadn't visited as well.
So the travel for you has been a journey to, I suppose, in a sense, finding yourself, living in the present, bringing in some of those rituals and daily practices on a more concrete level. And so, you found yourself as the midlife butterfly. So now what you're doing is also now going to be supporting other people that are who are standing on the precipice, maybe wanting to make those changes or choices in travel. So how are you going to be supporting other people?
I want to show women, I think by doing what I do, I hope that women, and I see messages that appear, women will respond and say, it gives me inspiration to see that you're out there and you're doing it. And that's a lot
Yeah,
of it because I feel it's really important for women of our age to understand that anything
yeah,
is possible, that you can achieve, that you can get out there and you can take time for yourself. You
yeah,
are entitled, and you shouldn't even think about that as an entitlement, that you should be able to just step out and go, I want this time, it's for me, I want to do something for myself. So a lot of it is around inspiring other women to see that it's possible, and also I want to be able to teach women about mindset around what it is stopping them, what's inhibiting them from moving forward and change. It's really about the positive mindset. A lot of it is about changing your mindset, looking at your values. What is it you value? So that's one part of it. And the next part of it really is kind of learning the skills of travel. Like, how do you travel? How do you
yeah,
plan? How do you feel safe? How do you know where to go? What do you do if you get into trouble? How do you feel alone? What about going out for dinner and sitting by yourself in a restaurant? Something that's I feel that's like second nature now, but I can look back and think about that was actually quite a challenge at one point, especially when I was going
yeah,
through a period of anxiety from midlife. So I feel a lot of it is you kind of go through a process of awakening and awareness, and that's where I feel
yeah,
it's about the mindset. And I feel once you kind
right,
of get into that mindset, that's about well-being as well, having these
yeah,
practices. You then go on a journey with purpose, and you can do the purpose in different ways, the way that you kind of plan your journey and where you go on your journey, why you're choosing to go there, and journaling your way through it. And then I feel like the last part of it is community. I think we've connected in this space through the community and through my group, and that's what I'm finding is that I'm connecting to so many incredible women. And that's the other part that's come out of it, I feel, for women, is that we let go of the ego so much, I think, as we step into this age. And women are really important around us, that we support one another, we inspire one another, we
yeah,
will be one another's cheerleaders, and we will share information and kind of build opportunities for one another. So That's what it is that I'm teaching. That's what I want to teach women.
Oh, I'm great. I'm really looking forward to, I'll be sharing your link, etc., through the podcast. And really hope that, people, I know that you're going to be offering courses and that people will be able to get the support. I know how flexible you are, which is fantastic. So just one last question. If you could go back to yourself who was in burnout, sitting on the edge, what would you tell her now?
That midlife is your golden chapter. This is it. You got to step into it and embrace it. And this is your time. This is your time. You've got your wisdom, you've got your experience, and it's time to let go of any of the feelings that you've had that have restricted you from becoming who you should be, because it's within you. It's just that sometimes I think we get caught up in everything that goes on around us, and we serve others and we tend to forget to serve ourselves. So I think if I look back at myself, then I would say, you're going to be right. You're going to get out there and you're going to... Yeah, I'm getting quite choked up thinking about it, because it's just been incredible. It's just been such an incredible experience for me to step out of my life. And I don't think it's about 2 years. I mean, mine's quite extreme for some people.
Yeah.
I see other women. I spoke to a woman the other day. She's done 7 years. So it's a way of life, but I think also just taking time out to step back and go into a different space, especially when you travel into a different space, that you go on a journey that's both external, but it then creates this internal change as well. So there's this energy that creates this movement. And I think that, the message from me to women is this is your golden chapter. This is it. You can now use this opportunity to decide what you want moving forward. What do you want? What kind of a life do you want to create now? Is everything and where you're at what you want? Do you feel confident? Do you feel resilient? Are you happy in your job? Are you happy in your relationships? Do you feel good about yourself? And if you're questioning all of that, then I honestly believe that travel is a way that you can start tapping into that. And positive mindset, going out and challenging yourself by traveling, finding out who you really are in that space on your own and what you can achieve, and then building your sisterhood around you. That's it. This is it. This is the chapter. It's incredible. I really enjoy midlife. I didn't think that would be the thing because of all the negativity that we've heard for so many years. But it's not. It's amazing. It's incredible. And I see so many women now who are embracing this, and they want to share that message as well. So, I'm all for it. That's it. Make the most of it. Get out there and enjoy it.
Joanna, thank you ever so much for joining me on Just Winning. I've really been excited to hear your story, and I really look forward to travel myself, but also for your inspiration to other midlifers. So thanks ever so much, and no doubt we'll be chatting soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jules.
Okay. All right. Cheers.